Hey guys, welcome back. Maverick here, of course, with another episode of Shaman King. So, hopefully in this episode, we're gonna have a bit more of a normal pacing here. Last episode, as I mentioned before, and I later on went and checked, they adapted 8 chapters of the manga in one single episode there. So, really trying to blaze through everything that happened. And this episode is kind of important since it's going to introduce, of course, an important character here. So, I hope they will slow down a little bit and allow us to see the characters in their fullness. So with that being said, let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. By the way, in the manga, no, it was even less. It was more like a footnote. The fact that Hal killed Lilala. Right. So here they're trying to even make it a little bit dramatic and all. In the manga, it actually just happened like on the very last panel or something, and you see the silhouette of the spirit of fire, piercing through Lililana. Well, he's thinking about you as well. Don't worry, it's your destiny. Oh, here we go. That voice though. Again, I'm not entirely certain of the original anime adaptation. I've mentioned numerous times before I'm more of a manga reader, but the fact that that voice sounds like that, I'm inclined to believe that was the original voice actor as well. Only obviously with some years put on. Right. Like it's quite for a lot of the characters here, they sound a lot older than they should. Let me take a quick look. Yep, it is the exact same voice actress. Somi Yoko. That's why, obviously, if in the original, this Lyserg is supposed to have more of a, I mean, he's supposed to be more of a Bishonen, right? One of those, good-looking, good-looking young dudes. I mean, just looking at him, you can kind of, infer that, right? Lucky Mountains.
500年前セミのあの戦士たちがたどり着いたパッチの村がある。ここが今もパッチの村だという可能性は少ないが
Which is basically the Rocky Mountains. Ah, you know what? I never paid attention to the geographical features. Here. So apparently it's in Montana? It's... You know, again, it's probably a lot more credible when the voice actress was in her younger years. I mean, typically young males are voiced by female voice actors, right? Voice actresses. I do like that. That's cute, right? Woo! I actually kind of forgot about this. That they both got defeated. Yeah, he's incredibly strong, and there's a reason for that.
これで僕の力は分かってもらえたよね。パワーだけで言ったら多分君たちの方が上で浮力は同程度。ほんの少しの工夫でこんなに差が出るんだ。だからもういい。こんなに二人を傷つけといて何が仲間だ。こいつらを病院に連れて行くからそこをどいてくれ。それを邪魔するってんなら容赦はしねえよ。ふん。お って飛んでくると思ったのに意外だな。大丈夫か？
Well, I mean, it was kinda their own fault. Honestly, their pride is probably more hurt than their bodies.
つうか、お前も横になってた方がいいと思うぞ、レン。竜に肩貸してもらえ。ホロホロはオイラが担ぐ。さっさと病院探すんだ。そうはいかない。無視するなんてひどいじゃないか。僕には仲間が必要なんだ。あいつを倒せるほど強い力と心を持った仲間が。
リゼルグ、それではいつまで経っても父さんのような立派な探偵。
And by the way, again, getting to the, getting to the, what's it called? The international game? You know, again, I do appreciate the fact that they're trying to use all the original voice actors and voice actresses, but again, trying to use someone who's I mean, at this point in time, most of the voice actresses must be around their 50s, right? 40s, 50s, and whatnot. It's kind of a tall order to ask them to dub for little children characters.
母さんの言うことを聞いてちゃんと練習しとくんだぞ、リゼルグ。
僕の父さん、リアム・ダイゼルは世界一の探偵で、ダウジングの名手で、僕の憧れだった。父さんに探し出せないものは何一つない。僕は何より父さんのようになりたかった。そして僕は
And of course, because it's England, they had to go with a detective character, right?
おめでとう、リゼルグ。君は今日から立派なダウザーだ。
喜び勇んで家に帰った僕が見た光景は、バカなやつだ。黙って僕に力を貸すと誓えば死なずに済んだものを。待てよ。ちっちえな。そうだ、僕はまだまだ弱い。パッチ村に行けば
And thus, he became Harry Potter.
リゼルグっつったな。邪魔するなら容赦しねえと言ったはずだ。だからお前とは戦ってやらん。オイラが一発で終わらせてやる。阿弥陀丸ならそのくらいに生きるのはわけもない。
Morphe. And of course, even at this very early stage, right, you kind of get the idea that this dude is a little in the head. Go cooking. Hey, see, quite important. You gotta hand it to you know you gotta hand it to Yo as well, right? And again, just handling everything so nonchalantly. It's one of the reasons why Yo is my hero. Yeah, technically, what he did to you, you know, pales in comparison with what happened to Lyserg. Yes, he's hitting on him. Maybe it's the fact that they look somewhat the same?
奴なら今頃どこかで寝てるだろう。
たく、うちのリーダーはしょうがねえな。
僕は確かに見たんだ。ヨウ君に重なる奴の面影を。
Maybe it's the fact that they look quite similar.
ただの思い過ごしなら。
Oh, they definitely have connection.
みんなは。
先ほどリゼルグ殿と食事に出かけたようでござる。よかったでござるな。どうやら皆も納得してくれたようで。
まあな、話は誰だってわかると思ったよ。どんなやつだって行動には必ず理由がある。例の見えるやつに悪いやつはいねえと思ってんのは今だって変わんねえからな。
しかしリゼルグ殿の話には驚いたでござる。ヨウ殿はあのハオでさえ悪くないというのでござるか。
オイラだってハオのしたことは許せねえ。でもハオにだってどっかに理由があるはずだ。
Oh, he does.
悪いのはきっとそれなんだろうな。
See, that's quite an important story as well, right? Everyone has their reason for doing things. Even the villains or so-called bad guys of this world. And that's not to mean that they shouldn't be punished for it, right? As Yo clearly showed us here already. Right? Even though he was really angry at Lyserg. Basically, he just punched him and said, look, what you're doing is wrong. Now... Oh, hold on a second. This is also quite an important part here. Of course. We're not just gonna leave back the girls. All of the girls. Right as they go to America. Asakura. Oh. Huh. A new ending? Huh. So it's not a new opening, it's a new ending, eh? I don't think this is... Yeah, this isn't sang by Hashibara-san. Oh. Horia Yui. Okay. Oh, is she going to voice... She's gonna voice her, eh? But why would they have the ending right here? Why would they change the ending here? That makes no sense. I mean, I get... Yeah, this is kind of too early, guys. Well, alright. See you guys after this. Alright, so with this episode, we are formally introduced to Lyserg, or Lyserg, or however you want to pronounce his name, and the cast is complete, right? I mean, that much should be obvious from the opening and whatnot, and I gotta say, it is kind of a rough introduction, right? The way that he introduces himself definitely doesn't earn him any fans right off the bat, and considering, you know, some of the things later on and all that, well... what can I say? He's not exactly one of my favorite characters, but still, you know, he has his moments as well. And so, yeah, I don't think anything wrong happened here. I mean, he pretty much told his story. You know, you get why he wants to go after Hao, and it's sort of like an obsession with him, right? And we can clearly see that kind of obsessive behavior emitting from him, both from when he was introduced and even to the very end here, right? Like, even though he has joined this group and whatnot, and the others have accepted him, you know, in his mind he's still being clouded, right? Like, what's the relationship between Yo and Hao and whatnot? And you know, is that going to cause anything? You know, what will he do once he learns that these two are actually connected and all that, right? I mean, I think it's suffice to say that he's not going to take to it too kindly. And I mean, at the very end there, we can clearly see once again, it's Asakura Hao, right? They are related. I mean, this much is obvious if we just go back to the beginning of the very first episode, where it was already revealed that, you know, it's Hao and Yo and whatnot. But obviously there's a bigger story behind all this. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be revealed in the next episode. I don't quite remember going directly... If I remember correctly, actually, so Anna is going to learn of everything that happened, and then tell us later on, you know, by telling Yo and whatnot later on, as a way of allowing us, the viewers, to catch up to the situation as well, rather than just, you know, looking at it through a through another place, through Anna. But I could be wrong on this. My memory is a little bit fuzzy on that. But you know, that's going to be another, you know, another big storyline there, and it's going to lead to actually one of my favorite moments of Anna. But you know, we'll talk more about that once we get there. So about Lyserg, this episode, no, I mean, he is what he is. I think another point that I do want to make is, once again, in regards to Yo, right? I've said numerous times before, and part of the reason why I love Shaman King so much, and why I am still, you know, sitting through this and whatnot, even though, you know, clearly it's not exactly a very quality adaptation, neither compared to the manga nor compared to the original anime. But you know, it's just, I want to support this work, right? I want to support Yo. Yo is just so awesome to me. He is definitely my favorite shonen protagonist. And, you know, the way that he goes about the Lyserg situation is kind of indicative of that as well, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's, like, we've had our fair share of either hot-headed, hot-blooded characters who really, you know, butt heads with a character like this one, right? And we've also had, you know, there's also numerous characters that are always entirely like peace-loving and always trying to see the good in everyone, and you know, always trying to diffuse the situation and whatnot. But here, you know, how badass is it that Yo simply goes up to him and says you're weak, punches him, and go, you know, you should know you're weak. Now let's go to the hospital. I'll listen to your story there, and we can make a decision there, right? Like, come on, that is so awesome, right? And honestly, to me, anyways, that's the ideal response to the situation, because, you know, clearly it's not like Horo and Rin were entirely devoid of any wrongdoing, right? They also struck first, and in fact they teamed up against him and whatnot. I don't think that should be taken too kindly as well, right? I mean, you still got you could argue that Lyserg was acting in self-defense, right? Like, now he might have gone a little bit overboard, right, and really pushed it, but hey, how is he to know that actually those two aren't really going to try and cause him any significant harm or damage, right? So I think in that kind of point, that is the kind of situation where I would actually kind of be annoyed by the more hot-blooded kind of character that instantly, you know, gets in his face and say, how could you hurt my friends, and so on and so forth, right? Because, you know, clearly, it's not like they're not in the wrong either, right? And then conversely, I also don't really like it, and it annoys me when we just get a goody two-shoes character who's like, oh, hey, everything is fine, and all that. So I like this sort of balanced approach here. And, you know, it actually brings up, again, two very important concepts within Shaman King as a whole, right? One is, you know, your mental state is actually what is going to be the deciding factor, determining factor in all this. It is, in the end of the day, a sort of battle of willpower in a lot of ways. And even if your actual your actual powers are not as strong as the other person, if your willpower is able to overcome them, then you will be able to win, right? So that is very, very important, actually. And then of course, another thing is where Yo says like everybody has their own reasons, right? I feel like it's definitely something that's not I feel like it's not mentioned enough in a lot of anime works and whatnot. I always love it when the so-called bad guys, the so-called antagonists, make you feel for them, right? Make you understand their point of view, and even if you don't agree with their methods, you would still agree with they were wronged in some way, and they do deserve some sort of redemption or some sort of acknowledgement of them and some sort. Not just the being evil just for the sake of being evil kind of thing here. So that is also another important part of this entire series. It's part of Yo's philosophy, right? But I do think that it's a philosophy of Shaman King as a whole, and it's once again something that I still stand by to this day as well, right? Even it's more of a case of, look, even if you're doing bad things, I can understand that you do bad things, so I'm not going to just condemn you and say, how can you be so evil, and how can you do something like this, not that kind of perspective, but instead understanding that everything that you do does have consequences, right? Like, even if you were wronged and whatnot, if you lash out and hurt someone else, they are going to hurt you back, and then at that point in time, you deserve it, right? So, it's a sort of I'm not sure if I'm getting my point across here, but it's more of a case of I truly believe that everybody can have their own opinions, however wrong or right we may think it is. I mean, at the end of the day, that is their opinion, right? But you are free to have all the opinions you want, but the second that you actually use those opinions to infringe on someone else's rights or freedom or physically hurt someone or whatnot, that's when you're kind of in, I'm not going to be defending you and saying, because you have your reasons and whatnot. I'm just going to be like, well, hey, they also have the right to not be harmed, right? So it's kind of like this give and take situation. But yeah, I feel like this is kind of getting off track, but looking at this, sorry, I got something in my throat and whatnot, but looking at this after all these years, it's once again reminding me why I love this series so much, why it has a special place in my heart, and I think mostly because I feel like the philosophical concepts that stem from this work are values that I hold dearly as well, and I've said it before, this really in a way shaped my beliefs all the way up to now. Whether it's the case of it shaping my beliefs, so that's the way I am now, or maybe it's a case of I've always had these beliefs, and so that's why I resonate with this work so much. I mean, cause and effect, right? Which one really comes first, chicken or egg? But regardless, I do really enjoy these things so much, and looking back on it right now as an adult 20 years later, it's definitely allowing me to have, reminding me once again, and in fact allowing me to understand once again why I love this work so much, I guess. So yeah, anyways, that's that, and of course we have the new ending song and whatnot, sang by Haruya Yui, who is going to actually voice the character that we see at the very end there. Kind of a spoiler because she hasn't appeared yet, and I don't think she's going to appear yet for at least 2-3 episodes? Or maybe in the next episode. Huh, I actually can't quite remember. I mean, obviously, she hasn't appeared yet, right? I think no, not in the next episode. At the earliest, at least 2 or 3 episodes later. But of course, an important character as well, part of a very important group. And well, I'm not gonna spoil anything. But anyways, just stay tuned for that. So, thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.